Welcome back to a new post today. And today let's look at another victory for our Indian democracy, where the Supreme Court upheld the election of an Aam Aadmi Party contestant in the Chandigarh mayor elections. And this was using its special powers under Article 142, which we might have heard many a times. The Supreme Court have come to the rescue of the petitioners, especially when there is no recourse or no solution when in any other law, and the Supreme Court uses this article to provide complete justice to the petitioners. And this is once again a victory for the Supreme Court, the judiciary, in protecting the rights of our democratic system, especially with regard to clean and fair elections. So the Supreme Court nullified the January 30th Chandigarh mayoral polls, overturning the initial result of the BJP's candidate, and instead declared the Aam Aadmi Party Congress Alliance candidate the rightful winner. Now the Supreme Court declared the Aam Aadmi Party councillor Kuldeep Kumar as the winner and the mayor of the Union Territory of Chandigarh, setting aside the Chandigarh mayoral poll results. A bench comprising our Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, and Justice Pardiwala and Manoj Mishra was hearing a plea of the defeated Aam Aadmi Party candidate Kuldeep Kumar for accusing the returning officer Anil Masi of electoral malpractices, and this has been caught on video recording. So using Article 142 to do complete justice, the court extended itself to put an end to the dispute in the manner using its powers under Article 142. Now BJP won the Chandigarh mayoral polls on January 30th, defeating the alliance of Aam Aadmi Party and Congress after the returning officer declared invalid almost 8 votes of the coalition partners, and the returning officer of the polls drew accusations of tampering with the ballots, and this was recorded on camera. The BJP candidate Manoj Sonkar defeated Kuldeep Kumar after the votes were counted, and he won 16 votes against his rival 12 to back the mayor's post. So what exactly did the Supreme Court observe in its verdict? It said that it was evident that the presiding officer Anil Masi made deliberate attempts to deface the 8 ballot papers, the court observed. It also said that criminal prosecution of the presiding officer for misdemeanor and also violating his powers under electoral practices. The court also directed issuance of show cause notice to Anil Masi, the returning officer. Examining the ballot papers, the CJI said that the ballot papers on which the returning officer had put markings were those which were actually cast in favor of Kuldeep Kumar, that is the Aam Aadmi Party candidate. It observed orally that it will direct the votes to be counted again, treating the 8 defaced ballots as invalid, and while declaring the result. The Supreme Court observed that the result of the Chandigarh mayoral elections were contrary to law, and the Supreme Court therefore intervened in the ballot papers and also ordered the production of the video records of the polling day. So this was one instance where it preserved the democratic mandate of the country, especially with regard to mayoral polls. Chandrachud voiced deep concern about the horse trading practices that took place while the mayoral elections were going on, and how the party had influenced the presiding officer or the returning officer. His remark was made in reference to the sudden shift of the allegiances of 3 AAP councillors to the BJP, coinciding with Sonkar's resignation as the mayor on the eve of the Supreme Court hearing. Now the court is therefore duty bound to exercise its powers to do complete justice under Article 142, and this was what Chandrachud said, our very own Chief Justice of India, to ensure that the process of electoral democracy is not thwarted by, and allowing such a state of affairs to take place would be disruptive and violative of the principles of democracy of the country. This was what the Chief Justice of India said. The bench said what happened in the mayoral elections was an exceptional situation and a complete violation of the powers of the returning officer, and also thwarting and violating the principles of a vibrant democracy. The decision to declare Kuldeep Kumar as a winner was taken immediately after the perusing of the 8 ballot papers that were specifically brought to the Supreme Court. The bench said that the 8 ballot papers were clearly cast in favor of Kuldeep Kumar, and his tally was going above the majority mark of the 38 votes that were polled. He got a majority of 20 votes. Therefore, Massey's declaration of Sonkar as of the winner was squashed, set aside, and said it was a violation of the electoral practices. The bench played the video recording of the polling day to open the screens placed around the courtroom for the benefit of all them present, and therefore justice was based on the open evidence in the court. The bench concluded that Massey misused his powers as a returning officer to unlawfully alter the course of the mayoral elections. He further said that he patently made a false statement in the Supreme Court that the 8 ballot papers were already defaced by the time it reached him. Article 142, let me tell you, of the Indian Constitution is a provision that provides Supreme Court with special powers to pass an order or a decree necessary for doing complete justice in any case matter pending before it, and it can also make such a decree or order enforceable throughout the territory of India. While the powers of 162 are extraordinary in the nature, the Apex Court has defined its scope many a times and the extent through which the judgments can be made over time. So what exactly is Article 142? So I told you that the Constitution contains Article 142 that bestows special powers on the Supreme Court to ensure complete justice in situation where the existing laws or the statutes may lack adequate remedies. Now, Article 142 was used by the Supreme Court many a time. So how does the Article 142 give such unique powers to the Supreme Court? In 2017, the Supreme Court utilized Article 142 to transfer the Babri Masjid case, defining the broad scope of its powers. It said the Latin maxim of fiat justitia ruat caelum, let justice be done even though the heavens fall, encapsulates the essence of Article 142. The court said that Article 142 does complete justice and gives distinctive power not found in the Government of India Act 1935 or any other global constitution. It empowers the Supreme Court to do complete justice, ultimately concluding legal dispute between the parties. The article contradicts the traditional equity principle that follows the law, making it a unique provision. The Supreme Court, while molding relief, can deviate from the strict legal applications based on the peculiar circumstances in each of the case. Article 142 allows the court to relax the application of law or entirely exempt the parties from legal rigors during the process of delivering justice. It also empowers the court to ensure complete justice when deemed necessary. Now, despite its expansive powers, Supreme Court had clarified in 2023 that Article 142 is not universally applicable and only can be invoked in few cases. For example, Supreme Court defined its scope and extent through its judgments over time. In the Premchand Garg case of 1962, the Supreme Court held the order to do complete justice between the parties must not only be consistent with the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution, but it cannot be inconsistent with the substantive provisions of relevant statutory laws, referring to the laws made by the Parliament. In the Union Carbide Corporation versus the Union of India case in 1991, the Supreme Court ordered Union Carbide Corporation to pay $470 million in compensation to the victims of the tragedy, placing itself in the position above the parliamentary laws. In the Siddique versus Mahant Suresh Das case, popularly known as the Ayodhya dispute, the Supreme Court had exercised the powers mentioned under Article 142 to do justice. So what is the significance therefore of Article 142? It prevents injustice. Now, it provides this very special and extraordinary power to the Supreme Court to do complete justice to the litigants who have suffered travesty of illegality or injustice in the proceedings, and they do not have any recourse or remedy under any statute or law of the Parliament. Now, it also upholds the citizens' rights. Article 142 has been invoked for the purpose of protecting the rights of different sections of the population, and it is also a check on the government. It works as a system of check and balances with the Government of India or the legislature, and one very big instance is the electoral the elections of the mayor that were conducted in Chandigarh, where the returning officer itself, who needs to ensure clean and fair elections, tampered with the votes. And therefore, this is how the Supreme Court sometimes uses its extraordinary powers to provide justice to the litigants. So no matter what the executive and the legislature does, definitely there is a ray of hope near the judiciary as well. So this is what some of the important points that I wanted to share with with you all with regard to the Chandigarh mayoral elections and how the Supreme Court does justice, complete justice, by using its special powers under Article 142. What is its significance and earlier few instances which you can use well in your answer writing as well. If you did like these points which really you found helpful, please do like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to comment, and I shall see you in my next post. Until then, happy learning.